سوري معلش هو شغال دلوقتي؟
هنهتم بثلاث قطاعات: التعليم والصحة والإصلاح الإداري. أتصور خلال سنة أو سنتين انتوا هتشوفوا أداء الدولة المصرية عامل إزاي.
بما أننا في خضم التحرك قدما نحو الأمام، فلنصنع من خطواتنا أميالا، ولنجعل عملنا سريعا ودقيقا وبتنفيذ
our missions and to have unique execution, so we have a perfect workforce and historical governmental institutions, so we can help Egypt to be always at the top, according to the at the top of the developed countries. The Egyptian comprehensive vision and the empowerment of the innovation between the different sectors of the country, in providing governmental services at its best, and to have distinguished and spirit of performance that have motivation towards the success and outstanding results. The Egyptian prize to be an annual prize for the distinguished performance, towards along with the Egyptian prize for the governmental best performance. In the name of Allah the Almighty, Mr. Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, His Highness and the Minister of the Egyptian Planning Ministry, Your Highness Muhammad Abdullah Gagawi, Minister of the Cabinet and Planning Affairs for the and Your Highness and Your Majesties, the dear attendees, peace be upon all of you. I'm Sharif Fuad, your speaker today, and I'm gladly having all of you today to celebrate with those who have won the Egyptian Governmental Prize in its first session 2019, which is considered to be the prize which is compatible with the Mauritanian of the cooperation and the mutual work between the two countries, between Egypt and the AUE, which is one of the plans according to the strategic cooperation in the modernization of the government. And today's ceremony is a real proof for the deep and the strong ties between the two countries and between the two leaders of both countries that have been always having the will and the spirit to build a bright future for the citizens of both countries and the whole Arab world. And always the governments have been working on meeting the needs and the services of its citizens, and today the government's main priority is to reach happiness of its people. And with no doubt that this is the utmost plan and this is the utmost development and to have the satisfaction of the citizens. And here comes the actual pivotal role of this prize that give incentives and motivation to the workers to provide their best to reach the happiness of the people. Today's ceremony is an historical event, as the Egyptian Governmental Prize is a continuous progress for the development of the government performance, which is a historical performance, and it's one of these sparks in the world that will be added to the success records that has been witnessing lots of success the past few years. Your Highness and Majesties, dear attendees, I'm gladly providing the Minister of the the structure reforms for the Arab Republic of Egypt to give you her speech and to provide presentation about the progress of Egypt towards the distinguished performance for the administrative structure of the country. So please come on the stage. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. The Minister, Mr. Mustafa Madbouli, the Prime, Your Highness, the Minister of the Planning and Reforms, Dr. Hala Saeed, Your Highness, the United Arab Emirates Minister Mohammed Girgawi, dear attendees, Your Highness, Your Excellencies, welcome to our distinguishing day, the day of the gratitude, the day of grabbing the harvest. I am having the honor to provide you the 16-month ongoing performance of the team since being announced in July 2018 about the prize under the auspices of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to provide incentives to the state institution to have the best performance of the workers and personnel. Ask yourself every day, when will be your own sparks? The concept of appreciation for those distinguished has been always there in Egypt, that has lots of contributions on the whole human civilization. So last decade, Sultan Hussein Kamil in 1550, the medal of Muhammad Ali, and also the Nile medal that has been provided to the state best performance. And on the steps of our fathers, we have launched the competition of the distinguished in 2015, and it's been always developed year after year, and then it stopped at 2011, and then been resumed again very strongly alongside with the UAE, and we have announced the Egyptian governmental distinguishing performance in 2018. Our slogan for each winner, that winners are not just those who will have the prizes, but the actual treasure is the journey. The journey that they started with us, starting from the very beginning until the last destination. The actual treasure is underlying the experiences they gained. They get acquainted during their journey about the points of weakness and points of strength and how they can work to get distinguished over the road. The outputs of the prize is that we need to work on those outputs to have a plan for building capacity and to have ongoing investment plans for the future years. The first step considered is to have institutional distinguish and to be integrated with the prevailing state institutions and also with the personnel. So emerging from the transparency principle that we have for our Egypt Vision 2020, we have got 4 principles: transparency, quality, capacity, reaching to the excellency. We have got the ethics, and we've got 5 different axes. One for the legitimate reform and the institutional development and the building capacity, and to develop the national institutions and the national organizations. We focused on the human resource that we usually consider to be the milestone of the progress. So we have got integrated plan to have building capacity for the administrative institution personnel, that we have a selection process based on the evaluation, and then we come through the knowledge, and then we have the performance, and then professionalism. So starting from the sparks of the future until focusing onto the milestones, we have depended on the selection of our candidates on linking network information based related to the personnel, and to have their data analysis for their own professions and their related trainings required. And we have 3 different data information for the mobilization of the personnel being organized by the central institution for the employment, and another data for the profiles of the candidates and what are their skills, their educational skills and their language skills. We have helped those targeted scopes with lots of supervision, with focusing on those related and concerned with the decisions by the Prime Minister. We have units for human resources, analysis, and the legal and also the digital marketing units. We also work on creating a similar phase for the administrative institution, so they all have one mutual language. So the number of the last year and the first quarter of this year of the personnel have been reaching to 26,000 personnel from the workers in the administrative institution. We actually work with lots of best practices and role model. We have lots of training for the professional government personnel, and we have also another unit in our planning and evaluation unit to have a governmental official who usually work how he can reach to meeting the needs of the citizens. That we started in Giza and Alexandria, and we also will make sure to cover the rest of the provinces. Also, we've got lots of women leaders with Missouri University, also with the American University. Actually, the success partners from UAE and the Egyptian universities and the American University and Chicago Bulls University and Soares Association and the Academic National Field Trainings, Siska French University, the National School in Britain, the Armed Forces Schools, the Central Institution, the Corruption Integrated Association, also the Naval Transportation, all of those partners we've been working with, they are real, and we even celebrate with them to what we have reached to now. It's been with their own help and cooperation. At the end of my presentation, I express my gratitude for His Excellency President Fattah al-Sisi for his auspices for the prize, and the Ministry Cabinet who have been always with us, helping us, and also the Ministry of the Reform, and also special regards to Mr. Minister of the Ministerial Affairs of the UAE for his continuous efforts for the Egyptian Governmental Distinguishment Prize and all of the strategic cooperation works between Egypt and UAE. And at last, I would like to provide the prize to the staff from Egypt and UAE, expressing how they have conducted great efforts for the past 16 months. Also, I thank all of my colleagues who've been sparing no efforts to make sure that they will implement the plan of the institutional reform, and peace be upon all of you. Thanks lots, Ms. Ghada Alabi, for your great and valuable presentation. Now we will have a documentary video about the prize having the best criteria and categories that we're targeting. To reach the directions of His Excellency President Fattah al-Sisi, we have launched the Egyptian Prize for the Governmental Officers by lots of the cooperation of the Egyptian ministers with outstanding milestones.
تنقسم جائزة مصر للتميز
The
الحوتي
prize
إلى 5 فئات
have in different 5 categories.
جائزة المؤسسة
The prize for the best unit, the prize for the unit distinction in the providing the services, and also the one for providing the smart services, and one for the best leaders, and one for the innovation hungry, to have 17 prizes overall. The main prize focuses on the Egyptian Vision 2030 and the services for the citizens, the innovation and the human resources.
لهذه الجوائز معايير
These prizes have accredited criteria focusing on the leadership of the Egyptian authority worldwide. So the personal units have been trying, along with our associations, reaching the success for the prize in its first period with the participation of the training evaluation as well. The Egyptian governmental authorities work to have a progressive and distinguished services to the Egyptian citizen and to have leadership for the Egyptian people and the Arab Republic of Egypt in the world. In our first period for the Egyptian Distinguishment Prize, we've got more than 2,000 candidates from the governmental institutions and individuals to have the honor of winning one of those prizes as what it presents of the leadership. And now we will get acquainted with some of the experiences for those candidates. So I here call Mr. Ihab Abdelbasit from Aswan to provide his own participated experience in the Egyptian Governmental Distinguished Prize. In the name of Allah the Almighty, the Prime Minister, the Minister of the Planning and Evaluation and the Administrative Reform, the Minister of the UAE Future Pride, Mr. Minister Muhammad Gagawi, dear attendees, I am gladly thanking you for organizing this prize that has lots of and deep impact for those participants. Since the first date was announced, it has been a real dream for everyone to win. At the beginning of the conduction of the first trainings, we have been all having the responsibilities that we need to work to help in the innovative, and with all lots of future dreams. And with the first session, we have launched also the motivational spirit and have been seeking all of the candidates working on at their best on how to provide the best performance to meet the requirements and the criteria of the prize. And then, since I've been told that I've been selected from the first top winners, so I've been extremely happy and extremely also aware of the commitment that I will need to work on to have better and better for the coming years. And now, regarding the personal meetings I've been having, this now been clear for everyone that we have a new era of distinguishing and think. And the last evaluation category here, I can just really thank all of those contributions have been carrying all of the Egyptian corners to provide their evaluation and assessment, and also to take into consideration all of the workers' points of view. We have been having lots of justice and transparency through the whole process, and it's been a real experience that added lots to all of us. And we have been now with a road of democracy and innovation, and how we have a perfect and best performance for the future, how we can have the will and have the patience to be always there on the top. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. And now with another experience related to the Muntaza First Technology services that we have now the participant to provide the governmental services, Ms. Noha Ahmed Said Khalifa, the head of the center. Please come on the stage and share with us your experience. Your Prime Minister, Your Highness Minister of the Government Institution, dear attendees, ladies and gentlemen, peace be on all of you. I am honored to be between you today, representing my team for the Muntaza First Center in Alexandria, to attend the ceremony of the prizes for the Egyptian Governmental Prize. The journey started at the very beginning of the announcement of the prize. Throughout the ministerial website, and we have registered the request and the submission for our participation to provide the services for our citizens. And we've got the steps on how to participate and the criteria of the performance, and throughout all of the steps and the submissions to know the exact points of weaknesses and how to work on with the participation of building capacity of real professional trainers, and all of the coverage for the Egyptian vision and innovation and all of the possible routes to have distinguished performance. And we've been having a short list for the best technology units after the finalizing of the first period of the evaluation, and then to have the field evaluation, to have the candidates' files, to have all of the achievements on the road. And we've been ordered to have the experts from Egypt and from UAE as well, to start a new era of gaining knowledge and learning throughout the field evaluation, which is one of the first experiences for the center according to the criteria of the prize. So being today here between you as one of the centers which is candidate for the first and the last stage, and having the teamwork here, which is the actual pillar behind this prize, we have the actual commitment to usually work with the Egyptian Vision 2030 distinguished as is, and to also have the guarantee for the best future of our Republic of Egypt, with His Excellency on continuing speeches, and also the Prime Minister and Her Excellency, also the Minister of the Reform, Hala Said, and peace be upon all of you. Thank you so much. And now I am honored to provide Her Excellency Minister Hala Said on the stage to give her speech for the inauguration of the Egyptian Governmental Distinguished Prize. In the name of Allah, the Almighty. Your Highness, Your Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Your Highness, Minister Mohammed Gergawi, the AAU Future Minister, Your Highness, Your Excellencies, Your Ambassadors, the Cabinet members, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, dear attendees, allow me at the beginning to welcome all of you in this ceremony, which gathering lots of the distinguishing elements. It's a very unique ceremony. We're so happy to have these great leaders of the Egyptian guests from the UAE, and also from the ministers, from the ambassadors, from the parliament members, from the legal code representatives, and also from universities heads and the elite media and intellect and thinkers, and also the senior officials of Egypt. This ceremony is really unique in itself and also in its milestones, because it's witnessing the ceremony of the performance of the workers of the state. I am honored to meet you today in this great ceremony, to express the gratitude for the leaders and the elite personnel of the state have been really providing great efforts. As a gratitude for their efforts they have been trying to do, to exert, to have better production and to contribute in the change of the prevailing vision about the services provided by the governmental authorities by making sure that they are meeting the satisfaction and the needs of the Egyptian citizen, which is our priority. Ladies and gentlemen, the initiative of the Egyptian Prize has been launched more than a year ago. And since then, with lots of channels of the exerted efforts and the work. The beginning was through signing Memorandum of Understanding in the governmental progress, along with the Ministry of the Planning and also the Ministerial Affairs in the future in UAE back in February 2018. This signing was at the margin of the International Governmental Conference in Dubai. And actually, these Memorandum of Understanding have got lots of partnerships. But the best of this, that since the signing of this Memorandum of Understanding, just right away, after 2 months later, we've got His Excellency Minister Gergawi and Ms. Ahoud, and they said that let's start with the executive steps of this agreement. We have a great staff at that time, and I can remember what His Highness said, that this team, you can just consider them that they are your own team. And really, this what exactly has happened during the past 16 months. We have been, this staff, almost there all the time, every now and then, each 2 weeks there. So I really thank them deeply for their partnership that they have with us. In July 2018, exactly on the 4th of July, we have got launching the Egyptian Governmental Distinguishment Prize in a conference, vast conference that was having lots of international experts that talked about the distinguished governmental performance. And we have got his attendance, the Prime Minister, to launch this conference. And this conference was the integration of prevailing the concept and the notion of the quality performance in the Egyptian authorities, and it's now being the actual adopted principle that all of the personnel work on to have the best performed services to the Egyptian citizens. This prize is considered to be a revival, as my dear colleague said, that the Egyptian experiment said that providing the prizes for the Egyptian personnel that started in 2005 and stopped on 2011 according to the circumstances that we faced at the time. What are the forms of the prize? The prize has lots of forms. Maybe the first period we have excluded and just focused on specific categories just to make sure that we have exact control on this prize. So the prize has 2 main categories. The first category is the institutional distinct performance that has the Egyptian distinguished unit starting from the cities, the avenues, up to the villages inside the provinces, and the distinguished unit in providing the governmental services such as the postal offices, real estate, the services, the citizen services offices, also the social pre-qualification offices, and according to the smart services. Those are the institutional prizes that we started with this year. The other prizes, they are for the individual distinguished, which is the distinguished leadership for the heads of the sectors, heads of central administrations, directors and general managers, in addition to the innovation and experts for the best research or the best concept that has the resolution for all of the issues that we face in the unit. This comes in the framework of creating positive motivation and incentives in all of the state authorities. And in that regards, maybe I would like to say that maybe within the past few years and with the huge volume of the institutions, maybe we were having shed light on some of the elements that maybe have a bad impact or bad opinions towards the authorities. But this happens everywhere. So now we need to focus on the actual positive elements. So now we have lots of elements, lots of calibers that we really need to shed light of their success stories and to provide incentives. It's not just about declaration of the prize, but also we've been working on the identification of these prizes throughout raising awareness campaigns, as our team has been making lots of visits to different towns and villages to let people understand what are the criteria, how they can participate and submit in the prize process, and also how the evaluation will be made, what are the criteria. Number of candidates in our building capacity has reached more than 7,000 candidates from all of the state, and also the training hours has exceeded 50 hours. The process has started in December 2018 up until the end of April 2019. We've been so happy to receive candidates for the governmental institutional units from 290 universities from different 15 villages from 141 centers. Talking about the distinguished unit in providing the citizens services, we have received submissions from 216 postal offices and 64 real estate offices and 19 offices for social pre-qualification and 185 technological and digital offices. If we're talking about the distinguished individual prizes, we've got 39 heads of sectors, 99 heads of central administration, 333 director generals, and 200 directors. And we've been so happy to have lots of concepts and research, which has been very innovative, which has been really one of the milestones of the Egyptian governmental distinguished performance, as we've got more than 175 innovative concepts from the ministries and 72 researchers from the provinces for the innovation concepts, and we will have teamworks how they can implement and execute these notions into reality. Despite that, this vast participation of submission, for instance, we've got for the distinguished units from colleges, we've got 63% of the whole universities in the state, and the participation of the technological offices was about 56% of all, because the agreement in the highest committee that the first year the prize will be voluntary. So I hope that the Prime Minister, along with a submission for the highest council, this will be confirming on the incentives that this prize will be voluntary. The most important thing in this process, which is the evaluation criteria and how to control the criteria of the prize. This is the most important of all. And this was the actual thing that His Highness, the President of the state, was usually confirming on how you can evaluate who are the supervisors and how you can have the transparency and the accreditation for this prize. So the evaluation committees have been surrounding 110 supervisors and evaluators. 56 of them was from UAE. So we were having the evaluation from both countries. The rest of these were individual independent supervisors. They all have certificates of international supervision experiences and of their participation in this type of evaluation, and they have been having previous experiences in that field. In addition to the evaluation, upon the steps of His Excellency, the President, that all of the committee to be having international committee, and this already that we have got 6 arbiters from UAE and from other countries. They have come to make sure that they have following the procedures of the evaluation committees they are meeting and compatible to the criteria imposed. All of these recommendations, whether about the evaluation or the arbiters, they have submitted their recommendation to the Institutional Reform Council, and they all been reviewed. This evaluation process has been more than 400 hours, starting from making the submissions and providing the context and making sure throughout field visits that they have field visits in different provinces to confirm that they are compatible with the procedures required. And now we are today gathering the harvest of working for continuous 16 months to announce the names of the 3 winners in the 3 different sectors, and to be gratitude today on a moral and material prizes. So allow me today to the institutional reform. It's a long process. It's not a short-term post. It's a long journey, and it's an ongoing journey, and we usually encounter challenges. Whatever related to human resources is a process that usually needs us to exert lots of efforts, and also need us to, or let's say that we usually face challenges. That's why we have this reform that's usually required to have real faith and implementation in different elements. Firstly, the institutional reform, it's not just the commitment of a certain or an individual unit, but it's a contribution for between all of the institutions of the state. And also moving towards the new capital, it's a new element of helping in this reforming process. But still, it's also one of the challenges, because we need to have a proper preparation, because moving to the new capital, it's not just about moving or changing your building, but it's also change in your intellect and your systems and your intellect of the state personnel, which is the Egyptian plan that we work on, and how to get the best of the human resources, which is also one of the distinguished elements that Egypt has. Also, to have faith in the youth leaderships and to provide them with the best empowerment and building capacity programs, which is also one of the steps that we work on. So to invest in the human resources, especially in the youth category, is one of the richest investment. That's why we spare no effort or no money to provide trainings to those promising youth. As my colleague has said, that we've trained more than 2,500 personnel in just 1 year. We trained more than 2,500 personnel in different trainings inside and outside Egypt, inside the United States of America, United Kingdom, and UAE, in cooperation with the elite and best local and international educational institutions. Thirdly, the social community and the private sector. They are main partners with the government in the field of the institutional reform and development, which is usually calling as the contribution between the main pillars and partners, whether among the Egyptian vision of 2030 or for the annual plans or for the short term or medium term, the gold triangle of the government, the public sector, the private sector, and the social society. And actually, without having the opinions of our dear representatives, whether they are permanent members or colleagues from the ministry or from the institutional reform ministry, also from the social community and the ex-farmers for the great efforts they do, or even the participation of the social community and the private sector in the programs of the training and the building capacities. And I really thank some of the Egyptian banks that usually help in the, especially SOARES for cooperation in their trainings. Fourthly, the which is the real ongoing pillar of having such development and progress. So without this that being presented by His Excellency Prime Minister and His Excellency the President, we have never come across these achievements that we've reached today. At last, I really express my dear and sincere gratitude to UAE and its great staff for their tangible efforts and their great contribution and their fruitful contribution, and we stress on our keenness on continuing progress and cooperation, whether in this file or in different files related to the governmental files. So there is a center in Aswan and another one in Cairo, file for the governmental building capacity, through which we've trained 3,000 personnel in the innovative projects and the future projects. Also, I thank the efforts of the Egyptian side, the ministries, staff, especially the staff working on the Egyptian governmental distinguishing prize under the supervision of my colleague Salih Sheikh. All of the gratitude and thanks for your great efforts. The great members of the highest committee for the institutional unit. Really, I cannot find real words to express how great efforts you've been doing, because your consultant Gamal Nada, engineer Mohammed Mahdi, they were working really as a real personnel. They are there not less than 2 or 3 days a week. So, dear colleagues, great thanking to you. And for those who haven't been having the chance to participate this time, so let me say that distinguishing is a journey. It's a long journey. You will be having ups and downs sometimes. However, at the end, you will have an absolute happiness. All of the leaders throughout history, they have faced very hard steps at the beginning, but at the end, they have been able to overcome, and they have been having very inspiring and influencing stories. So failure is not just facing for the human unless he stopped trying to work on. So you usually keep on working and participating for the common prizes. So congratulations for the winners. And let me say that you are the ambassadors of the leadership and distinction. So please be always ideal so we can reach to effective and sufficient unit that can really meet the criteria and the requirements of the citizen. Thank you. Thank you so much, Your Highness, for your great speech. And now I have the honor to call His Highness Mohammed bin Abdullah Al-Gergawi, the Minister of the UAE Future and Ministers Affairs, to provide his speech. So please come on the stage. In the name of Allah the Almighty, Your Highness, the Prime Minister of the Arab Republic of Egypt, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Your Highness, colleague Hala Saeed, Your Highness and Excellencies, Your Majesties, dear attendees, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be today in my second country, Egypt. Egypt, the history, the civilization, to celebrate together with the winners of the Egyptian Governmental Distinguished Prize in its first round. This prize that comes as an interpretation for the directions of His Excellency President Fattah al-Sisi as the vast prize in its kind to have better performance and to provide better services, which is part of the Sustainable Strategic Vision 2030. I am honored to be with you today, representing the government of the Arab United Government as combining between both of our governments, which is our main mission on having distinguished experiences and to exchange experiences and information and to have ongoing best performance. Your Highness, Egypt is always in the heart of our citizens. this historical place that's been there by Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan since his days, been always there. The pillar of the current the civilization. So before 5 decades ago, Egypt used to be the first countries that's been always side by side to our newborn country. So it helps us and supports us every now and then, and it's for new efforts to express and to share experience. So thank you, Egypt. And we've been always asked by Sheikh Zayed for Egypt and its people, who usually said that Egypt civilization is civilization for the whole Arab, and the development of Egypt is development for the whole Arab world, and Egypt is always at the core heart of the Arab world. Ladies and gentlemen, why do we usually seek distinguish? Because distinguishing means that we should be better, and historically that human being always working on having better living standards, starting from providing better needs for the individuals, and then for the bigger community, and to have developed the community. And when humans started to explore their missions in having the ongoing life on earth, this distinguished performance has been changed from being a step into a principle, and to be having ongoing quality and ongoing best performance, pushed by unstoppable passion to be always at the top. And in the second half of the 20th century, the culture of the distinguished had been there in terms of helping of the incentives and the motivational work. And we've seen lots of the related laws, which is linking to the quality performance at the hands of some of the experts whose theses have always been there to learn. And we started lots of states and governments start to allocate all of the required resources to promote the culture of distinguished, and to change it to be one of the evaluation criteria and elements to be part and pillar of the institutional work. And the 20th century has witnessed the vast application for the understandings of innovation. So this was not out of abstract or from zero steps, but this was the harvest of a very long journey started by mankind, starting from the dawn of the human, mankind searching for the development and success. Ladies and gentlemen, governments throughout the whole world usually pursue to adapt the criteria of the best performance, and we have best practices on the ground, and to usually work on the quality of the performance and the services provided, and to help motivation and competition, and to upgrade the services, and to avoid mistakes at the most, and to have better working environments, and to provide best services. The governments spare no efforts to have ongoing modernization and upgrades throughout research and studies according to what they need, in the framework of the exchange of experiences and the knowledge that usually is a part of the country's success. And along with the upgrade and the development of the communities, we should be having again more work on the upgrade of the institutional units, and to work on criteria, procedures and elements and mechanism, and new innovations, resolutions and solutions, more than what we have, to be able to confront all of the new challenges we meet on the road. So let me talk about one of the experiments of Japan as one of the experiment in the field of the quality. So it's one of the first countries that opened its doors and intellect in front of the other experiences to have a perfect and have a lead in the developing sectors. It's one of the first countries that adopted the governmental quality elements that helped to be having the best world industrial, chemical, and administrative power. So after the Second World War, Japan decided that's been living for vast deconstruction to build a new comprehensive civilization based on distinguished and starting from this Japanese nature that has grabbed lots of international experts in the like the American expert William Deming and also Joseph John, who have worked on developing the concept of the comprehensive development that Japan adopted, and today it is selected to be at the top of the list of the best countries in terms of the services, industries, and quality. And it comes as at the third rank after China and United States of America in the on the GDP. Ladies and gentlemen, along with the theoretical and practical experiences, there have been lots of countries around the world providing prizes to be helping the leaders of its countries to have a better indicators of the best performance. I'd like to give you some of the examples of one of the international prizes that's now been a remarkable mark in the march of the governmental development, which is the Malcolm Baldrige Prize, the American prize for the best quality. So around 56 of the Egyptian hospitals, they use the prize to help on the best and the services for the patients. And it has some of the institutions and companies that adopted these price criteria. They have made a leap in their products with more than 90% of the progress, and even with 63% of success. Also, along with the other educational schools and universities that adopt the same criteria, they've also got lots of higher percentage of students and graduates. Also, once you have these criteria, you could be having around 800 US dollars in terms of adopting these criteria. So allow me to take you through some of the steps of the governmental distinguished march in Emirates. Now we have a very good competition market, and we have lots of distinguished prizes in the governmental sectors that started in 1994, more than 25 years ago, along with the prize of Dubai for quality. And then we've got the private sector, and then Dubai program for the governmental program, and then the Sheikh lead for distinguished performance, and then the best performance for the government units, and then we've got also with the development of the prizes, we've got the Mohammed bin Rashid prize as one of the integrated comprehensive of all. To Emirates, distinguished is a feature which is a long journey that usually have main target, which is mankind and the whole community in general. So what is that being achieved by the system that we have in Emirates? Let's say that I'm not going to be able to say it all here, but I will highlight its top. So in Emirates now we've got 98% of the and also 75% as well of using the digital services, and comparing to to the digital services, and the quality of the local and governmental websites is even having a remarkable success. So the quality was one of the milestones that we work on in the governmental units. Also, we've been using the governmental best performances to have better competitive indicators for the Arab United Emirates in different sectors. So Emirate is the one internationally for the international first for the project of for security and safe, and also for the economic stability, and also for the government efficiency, in addition to the communication fundamental, and the fourth in the transparent government. So these prizes have been used as elements and tools that we can take along with us to the future. Your Highness, ladies and gentlemen, we are sure that the Egyptian prize will help as an added value to a better and upgraded performance, and will help in establishing the culture of the quality and the best performance in different sectors by the youth of Egypt, who usually work and believe that they have their own also steps to help in the success road to work along with history of thousands of years, and to be having future lightening with powerful mankind, powerful human resources. Before the end, let me conclude the situation that I will never forget whenever I come to Egypt, as their brothers and sisters have arranged a visit for me in the Egyptian new capital, that has been mentioned to by my colleague. Let me say that really the field visit was astonishing, and the new administrative capital is really exceptional. And how they've been able to have perfect architecture and buildings is a real distinguished success. I heard about the new administrative capital, but who've been able to see it is not as those been just listening to it. So I've been really astonished to see it and to visit it. And at the end of my visit, I asked one of the officials, where would you like that His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi would like to reach? And the answer was really great. He said Cairo was the actual capital, the most distinguished in 1925, and the milestone of His Excellency that this new administrative capital will be best and be the best distinguished in 2025 in the whole world. And let me say to you that His Excellency President Fattah al-Sisi vision and the power of the Egyptian people can make this dream true, because Egypt has always been and will always be the actual pride of all the Arab world. And at the last, greetings and gratitude with sincere love and wishes to you, the Egyptian government and the Egyptian people from Emirates, and peace be upon all of you. Thanks for Your Highness for your dear and sincere speech and these expressive words, which is a direct invitation for the distinguished and the unique ties of both countries. This relationship, which is expressed by our poet, that your real deed is the one indeed, and the real friend is the one who's always there, helping you wherever you have challenges. Long live Egypt and long live Emirates. And I'd like to thank all of you that you allowed me to have the honor to be with you through these minutes And now I'll be having on stage my colleague to start the ceremony. Your Highness, Your Excellencies, dear attendees, I'm your speaker Nancy Noor, and I'm honored to have all of you here. Now it's time for the moment that's been waiting by all of you to announce the names of the prize winners of the Egyptian Governmental Distinguished Prize in different multi-categories, whether in what's related to the institutional distinguished or individual distinguished. At the beginning, I'd like to call the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, and also Her Highness Hala Said, Minister of Planning and Evaluation and Industrial and the Administrative Institution, to start announcing the names of the winners. At the beginning, let's start with the prizes for the individual winners. The prize for the innovation that calls for the motivation of the governmental units to have better environmental work. And we have got for this prize 249 candidates, and it's won by the first rank winner, Mr. Goma Ali Ahmed Touga, from the Ministry of Agriculture, with an innovative project about the water handling. And then the second, number two, from the Housing Minister, about the production of the new electricity sources. And in the third rank, Ashraf Hamad Noor from the Ministry of Justice, about the artificial intellect project. And now with the prize for the distinguished leaderships, and we start with the General Director. We've got 206 leaders, and it's won by the first rank winner, Ms. Ines Hamdi Abdasha from Sharqiya, and the second rank winner, Mr. Fadi Muhammad Ibrahim Zaid from Al-Manufiyah, and the third rank winner, Mr. Islam Said Ragab Abdel Hamid from Al-Qayyubiyah. Secondly, the prize for the distinguished leaderships for the General Director, and we've got 262 candidates, and it's won by the first rank, Mr. Ihab Imad Hanafi Abdel Basit from Aswan. Second rank prize for Mrs. Nabila Hosni Munir Adsuki from Al-Sharqiya. The third rank winner, Mr. Ahmed Muhammad Abdurrahman Al-Damiri from Cairo. Thirdly, the prize for the distinguished leaderships for the central units heads, and we've got 69 candidates, and it's won by the first rank winner, Mr. Saeed Ramadan Arafat Taha from Ministry of Public Sector, and second rank, Ms. Hanan Shaban Mutawa from Ministry of Housing, and the third rank winner, Ms. Laila Shahata Yusuf Said from Ministry of Military Production. Fourthly, prize for distinguished leaderships for head of sector. We have 26 leaders, and it's won by first rank Mr. Amgad Muhammad Khater from Ministry of Transportation. Second rank winner Ms. Imam Said Ahmed Sulaiman from Ministry of Agriculture. Third rank Mr. Ayman Abdelmanem Mukhtar Hassan from Manufaya. Secondly, we start with the prize ones for the institutional prizes. We start with the institutional distinguished for smart services for the units with the most effective and interactive sites. We have 168 governmental units, and it was won by the first rank Ministry of Investment and International Relationships through its website by Mr. Muhammad Fawaz. The second rank unit is the Communication and Information in Mansoura University for its website by Dr. Ashraf Muhammad Abdel Basit, and the third rank by Al-Sharqiyya for its website, and we have Mr. Walid Abdel Hamid Said. And now, with the prize for the distinguished unit for the governmental services provided to the units that provided best perfect services for citizens. Starting with the postal officers, we have 262 officers, and it was won by the first rank in the post office of Central Qina from Qina, Mr. Ahmed Abdul Qadir Abul Hassan. And the second rank, the Malawi Central Post Office in Minya, Mr. Muhammad Musa Abdel Nabi. And the third rank, the Postal Office of Ismailia, and we will have Mr. Amr Ibrahim. Secondly, the category of the real estate officers, we have 64 real estate officers, and the prize won by the first rank, the Suez Development Center in Suez. We have Mr. Abdullah Hassan. And the second rank went for the real estate Minya Avenues from Minya, Mr. Ahmed Sulaiman Ali, and the third rank for the Suez office, Mr. Gharib Abu Amir Muhammad Hamid. Thirdly, category of the technological centers for the citizen services. We have 158 centers for technology services, and it was won by the first rank, the Center Muntazah Awal from Alexandria. And we will have here Ms. Noha Ahmed Said Khalifa, and the second rank, the services for Center from Al-Maadi, and we will have Ms. Nadia Fikri Osman Ali, and the third rank, the Citizens Services Center from Cairo, and we'll have Engineer Noha Muhammad Bashawi. Fourthly, the social pre-qualification officers. We have 19 social pre-qualification centers, and we have the first rank, the office from Dumyat, and we will have Ms. Zainab Ibrahim Said Ibrahim Al-Hadidi Kasima, and the second rank for the pre-qualification Al-Qusayr office from Red Sea, and we will have Ms. Huwaida Abdel Hagag Muhammad Saleh, and the third rank for the social pre-qualification center from Zarqa from Dumyat, Ms. Amani Shaban Daki Al-Muzaki. And now with the prize for the governmental institution, Distinguished One, which is considered to be one of the most important prizes, that we've got the competition of about 560 governmental units, and to be provided to the units distinguished in its vision and services and products. We'll start with the coral. We have 14 villages that's been won by the first rank Bulak village from Al-Wadi Al-Jadid. We will have Mr. Abdel Nasser Muhammad Saleh Omar, and the second rank Sidi Abdul Rahman village from Matruh. We will have Mr. Fathallah Saleh Zain, and the third rank Safour village from Al-Sharqiyya, Mr. Abdel Salam Muhammad Said. Secondly, the avenues category, we have 64 avenues. We have here winners for the first rank, the Muntazah Awal Avenue from Alexandria. We have Mr. Hamdi Abdul Alim Shamil, and the second rank Al-Aguz Avenue from Al-Giza. We will have Miss Iman Sayed, and the third rank for the Heliblis General Muhammad Anwar Abbas. Thirdly, category of cities, and we have here 131 cities, and we have winners for the first rank, the Hurghada. We have General Ali Shawkat Abdurrahman, and the second rank for Port Fuad province from Port Said. We have here Mr. Muhammad Abdul Muhammad Said, and for the third rank for the Ras Al Bar city from Dimyat, we will have General Ahmed Hamdi Abdullah. Firstly, category of centers, we have 146, and we have the first rank winner Aga Sana from the Kahliya. We will have Mr. Mitwali Abdul Al Mitwali Abdul Al. The second rank winner, Banha Sana from Al-Qalyubiyya. We have Mr. Hamdi Salama Muhammad Salama. The third rank for Shabini Qom Sana from Al-Munufaya province, we have General Asam Abdul Al Muhammad. Fifthly, from the universities category, we have here 260 colleges, and it was won by, in the first rank, the College of Pharmacy, Cairo University, Dr. Hisham Ali Salim Ali in the first rank. The second rank for the College of Medicine, Cairo University, we have Professor Hala Salahuddin Muhammad Talat. And the third rank for College of Medicine at Mansoura University, we have Professor Ashraf Abdul Basit. Thanks for Your Highness, Ministry of the Industry for the Institutional Reform, and now with the speech of His Excellency Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli. In the name of Allah the Almighty, Your Highness Muhammad Al-Qawi, Minister of the Future and Minister of Affairs of the UAE, Your Highness Dr. Hala Hilmi Saeed, Minister of the Administrative Evaluation and Planning, Your Highness and Excellencies, your ambassadors, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear entities. At the beginning, allow me to express my sincere gratitude to His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for his warm hosting for this ceremony, and I'm honored to deliver his greetings. And also, I express all of the warm greetings with the brothers and sisters from the United Arab Emirates for their great and distinguished contribution and cooperation and their effective cooperation in the journey of the Egyptian governmental prize in its first round. And I would like to express throughout our sincere greeting to our sister country of Emirates and its government and its people, and to always be stable and to be always prosperous and successful. Dear attendees, I am honored to participate with you today at the ceremony of the Egyptian Governmental Distinguished Prizes, which is a very incentive ceremony for the state, and it's a very spiritual and influencing, as the success is the actual goal that help us to continue working. Our today's ceremony comes alongside with a very important stage in Egypt, which is the stage where we continue what we started with in the past few years, with the prosperity and development plans and projects to reach the social and economical, sustainable and comprehensive projects, and to help Egypt to go to gain the fruits and the harvest of the reforms that we have, along with the boosting and the support of the political leadership that always have the will and the power to take Egypt to the top, where have the contribution of the faith and the will of the Egyptian people. So on the economical stage, we are great to announce that our GDP for 2019 has been 6.5, which is the best rate of economical growth since 11 years. And despite the rate of the weak international growth within the same year and the low percent of the disemployment compared to 2013 to come, according to the positive elements, for the economical projects to be just 7.5 in the second part of 2019, which is the least rate since decades. The Egyptian government usually works on the economical and the sustainable projects towards effective participation from the social community and the private sectors and all of the partners from the world. And we already have come across a very long way to have lots of legislative and institutional reforms, and also infrastructure, and creating incentives and motivational contribution in the progress road. And now we can say that we have now the prevailing Egyptian fund that help to have new partnerships with the private sector, the local and the international levels, and to have a contribution with the different international funds and the direct economic funds, especially in the promising sectors, at top of which the communication, health, education, tourism, and energy sectors. And emerging from our belief with the importance of controlling and supervising the institutional unit to create a better and attractive environment for investment, we adopted a comprehensive plan for real reform by the supervision of the highest committee of the administrative reform that I'm honored to be at the top of, that has lots of experts, independent experts and ministers. And we have the milestone of the best practices and best experiences of the worldwide experts, and we have different elements as institutional building capacity, providing best products for the citizens, and also to help having database. Also working on the building capacity comes here the prize at this time to reflect how Egypt is so keen to work on the motivation and the competition between personnel, and to support and to give empowerment for the innovative hungers, and to make these innovative ideas real on the ground, and to help also in the process of transferring to the new administrative capital that we usually work on having distinguished performance from the personnel, starting from the language he used up until to adherence to code of conduct and performance indicators that will reflect on creating effective and sufficient unit that meet the criteria and the requirement of the citizen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to announce that we have the AUE as a partner, a very effective partner in our success story today. And I would like to exploit this chance to announce that starting from the second version of the Egyptian Governmental Distinguished Prize, this prize will be not just voluntary, it will be imposed on all of the units. As I requested from my colleague, Her Highness, the Minister of Planning, to double the value of the prize, and this being now done already, so now the prizes that's being distributed today to all of the units is being doubled in the monetary value. All of this comes in the context of the boosting of the competition and to have perfect performance on different levels of the employment services, especially in the health and education sectors, and to have new added values to the leadership prizes that will target best teamwork and best governmental personnel. And at the end, I'd like to thank the Minister, Dr. Hala Saeed, the Minister of Planning, and all of her team from both sides, the Egyptian and the Emirates, for their great efforts. And I'd like to re-emphasize that there is no economical success without institutional success, because they are both the two components of the sustainable, comprehensive approach. And I congratulate all of the winners for their prizes. And it's the first round, and we look forward to seeing you again next year in the new administrative capital with a new elite of experts and calibers that represent very sufficient and efficient element into reaching a very successful unit and authority. With all of my wishes and regards, and peace be upon all of you. Thank you, Prime Minister, Your Highness, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, for your expressive words. So I would just say that I really express a great sincere for Your Highness and Excellencies, and with sincere congratulations for the winners of the first round of the Egyptian Governmental Distinguished Prize, and looking forward to meeting all of you in the second round.